What is up, everybody? I am Kevin Iole. I hope you are doing well. Big fight in Tottenham, England on Saturday when Chris Eubank takes on Conor Benn, a rematch of a fight that was first held 35 years ago between the fathers, Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn. And it's been 35 years and a long way to get here. But on Saturday, there's going to be more than 60,000 people at this soccer stadium to watch these two fight. And I want to make a commentary. And first, I want to start off with the fact of the attendance and what this tells us about where boxing is and how to take boxing forward. And so when I start with this, I want to point out the fact that Las Vegas has been considered for many, many years the boxing capital of the world. Over the last couple of years, of course, that has really shifted to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as Turkey al-Sheikh has gone and invested so much money in the sport and brought so many of the big fights to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Las Vegas is really not even a third option anymore. I think when you're thinking of the big boxing venues and where do the big fights go, Las Vegas is kind of down the list. You know, you look right now and you have to say London, there's a lot of them, a lot of big fights that go to London if they don't go to Riyadh. New York is getting a lot of big fights. They have a big show coming up pretty soon. So Las Vegas is kind of losing its luster as the boxing capital of the world. Now, having said that, no city can do an event better than Las Vegas. Las Vegas has proven it time again. But here's the thing. I think this is evidence of the fact that the promoters have chosen the right venue. And that's what's key for boxing, putting the fight in the right venue. So just don't arbitrarily bring the fight to whoever pays the most money. Yes, in the short term, that is going to help your business and help you. But in the long term, it's not going to grow the sport, because if this fight was in Las Vegas, believe me, there wouldn't be more than 60,000 people there. There wouldn't be 6,000 people that would buy tickets. And that is 100% absolute fact. Las Vegas does not know who these people are. The boxing fans in Las Vegas are not going to go to a fight between Chris Eubank and Conor Benn. But in England, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they are going to pack the place and emotions are going to be very high. And that is really the thing that we have to look at in boxing. And it's something that's been true for a long time, but it's really true now as we get into the next generation of boxers coming up. Boxing is no longer at the top of the food chain where you can just say, hey, we're going to put a big fight out there and we know people are going to show. It has to be in the right spot. There's some fights, very few, but a few of them, that you could put almost anywhere and they are going to do well. But those days are gone because there is so much competition out there for these big fights, where you have other sports, you have entertainment, you have comedy, all these different things that people can go to on a night out. And especially in Las Vegas, right? There's always a lot to do in Las Vegas. Las Vegas now has its own pro sports teams. So there are so many things that go into this. And I just kind of feel like putting this fight in Tottenham, England was so smart on the promoter's part, and it's evidenced by the crowd that they are drawing. Really, really good stuff, and I am so happy to see this, and it points to the fact that boxing can rise up and can have big moments, and that there is interest all around the world in this sport. But when you throw all the fights into Las Vegas, that doesn't work. Just like if you put all the fights in Riyadh, that's not going to work. I think moving the big fights around, putting them in different regions of the world, not just in different countries, but move them into different regions so the time zones work for people in different areas. When the fights are in Riyadh, in Las Vegas, they're on early in the morning on a Saturday, and that's really difficult to draw an audience. Same thing in Los Angeles. Los Angeles, one of the big cities in the world, a huge fight town, but those fights that are being held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, are going off on Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon in LA. It's hard to get people now to stay home and watch a boxing match, especially if they don't have a really emotional investment in it. So I like the fact that the promoters of this show have put this where it belongs, in England, where the passion is highest, where the crowd is going to be insane, and it's going to make for a great event. I hope it shows up well on DAZN, because I think this is really going to be a fun and entertaining fight. Now, I want to talk about the fight itself. And I want to talk about Chris Eubank's antics throughout the promotion. So, as everybody knows by now, Conor Benn failed an anti-doping test by UKAD a couple of years ago. He blamed it on eggs and said he ate some contaminated eggs. So, at the first press conference for this fight, what did Eubank do? He took an egg and he smashed it in Conor Benn's face. And I don't like that whatsoever. I don't like the idea that you touch your opponent before the fight. That puts the entire bout at risk. Now, it also created another risk, I think, for Eubank. His father, Chris Eubank Sr., was saying, Junior, what are you doing? I don't even want to be in your corner. I don't want to be associated with this. This is not what you do. I don't think it was a bad idea for Chris Eubank Jr. to mock Conor Benn, to maybe throw eggs, or not throw eggs. I didn't mean actually physically throw them, but to bring eggs up and kind of, give him a hard time about that. But I think touching him with the eggs the way he did, and I guess he was planning to hit Eddie Hearn with an egg, but he never got a chance to do that. But that was wrong. And now, what is the implication of that right now, other than the fine that he got, which was stiff? But I think the implication is, what happens with his father now, right? Does this create an issue between the two of them? And will that affect him on fight night? The fact that his father now is not looking to work his corner, doesn't want to be with him because of what he did because of the egg. So I think that that's one of those things, guys, where you never touch your opponent. You can say whatever you want to say. Just keep the families out of it. You can talk about the fighter the way you want. Keep families out and don't touch the other person. When you touch the other person before the fight, you're creating the risk that you do not get paid, that there is no fight. And that is the worst thing that could possibly happen for you as a fighter and for the fans who want to see a bout like this. So I think that was a huge mistake by Chris Eubank, and I hope it doesn't impact him negatively. But I have to think that it's going to at least put something in his head about his father and what his father's comments were. So let's talk about the fight. Now, I don't think either Chris Eubank or Conor Benn are in that A-level fighter. To me, neither one of them is anywhere near pound for pound. They're good fighters. I think they're B- fighters, right? That is how I look at these guys. They're going to beat a lot of fighters. They're going to win a lot of fights, but they're not those superstar caliber fighters, those elite guys that you think of when you think of the best in the world, the Usyks, the Terrence Crawfords, the Gervonta Davises, the Canelo Alvarez's. They're not in anywhere near that kind of class. So I think that the expectations, just what they can do after this, should be tempered a little bit. Now, just because they're not in that class doesn't mean it can't be a fantastic fight. And I think it will be a pretty good fight. Eubank is 34-3 with 25 knockouts. Benn is 23-0 with 14 knockouts. Benn is younger at 28. Eubank is 35. Eubank is the favorite at DraftKings Sportsbooks. He is minus $1.70. Benn is plus $1.35. And the over-under is interesting. It is 8.5. Over and under both at minus 115. So basically, the bookmakers are telling you they're not sure what's going to happen in this fight. I kind of lean toward Chris Eubank here, but I don't have a lot of conviction. If I were to play this fight, I would make two plays. I would bet Eubank and lay the 170, but I would just bet one unit on it. I wouldn't go crazy. And I also like the over in the fight. I think this is going to go to a decision. A lot of times in fights like this where the emotions are so high that they tend to go to decisions as opposed to knockouts. I think when guys are this emotional, they tend to fight in a way that prevents knockouts, right? They're going for the knockout, and that tends to prevent you from seeing a knockout. So I like Chris Eubank to win the fight, but if Conor Benn wins it, I am not shocked. It's one of those fights. I don't want to say it's a coin flip, but it's close, right? You can make an argument for both guys. I like Eubank to win. I like the fight to go long, so I am going to say that I think this fight goes over 8.5 rounds. I hope it's a good fight. I hope you guys enjoy it. I really commend everybody for putting such a big event together, and I hope it plays out and delivers the kind of action that we all want to see. Enjoy, everybody, and we will talk to you soon. I am Kevin Iole. Have a great day.